and recording.
We're here.
Round 2. Ding, ding, ding.
Ding, 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 ding. We made it. We're back. Da. Welcome to Oddities. I'm Cassie.
I'm Kelly.
And welcome back to Strange Town. Hey!
Oddities. Stay strange.
Rolls right into our intro from that.
Which is much better than whatever I just fucking came up with.
Whatever we just did.
Thanks again to Kyle Head for that most excellent introduction. Which P.S. I should have promoted him last episode. My B. You can find him on social media under @KyleHeadMusic. Head spelled like head on your shoulders.
Like the one on your...
head, shoulders, knees and toes. Knees and toes.
Is there any other head to spell?
Well, it could be like HED.
Okay. Never
mind. Right? Anywho.
Never mind. Leave me here.
Anywho, thanks, Chef. That's a banging intro. As per usual, friends, family, countrymen, Romans, you can find us on social media. The links are in our description. We're a lot of fucking fun. And really, like most people, we're just trying to do this full time so we don't have to participate in corporate America or anything else anymore. And in addition, we have a link to our Patreon. If you want to subscribe to our show, you can do it for as low as $1 per month. And you get a bonus episode every week. Yada-da-da-da-da. There's several tiers you could choose from. And each tier gives you certain
more things.
So how exciting is that? We also have a merch store. So chickadee, check us out. Please and thank you. How's my birthday?
I'm good. Double recording.
We're double recording. If you can't tell by that dumpster fire of an intro just now, we're losing our minds.
You know what? I have no other better way to lose my mind than with my best friend. So,
agreed.
Here we are, losing our minds on a Sunday morning.
Easy like a Sunday morning.
I love it. I love it for us. I didn't say it last week because we were talking about the wonderful surprise that you gave me.
Yay.
But, favorite Cassie text of the week. Cassie had a business trip this week, right?
Yes.
And during one of her, on her way home, she had, texted me, hey, first flight down, woohoo. And, we were just texting back and forth during her layover. And I was like, dude, I am so in deep on this royal drama. So
invested. The two of us, it's problematic.
Her next response, and I just thought it was so funny, was, fill me in, I'm so lost.
I was so behind on shit because I basically didn't use my phone for 2 days because of, the work trip took up all the time. So, yes.
And for me, that was just so fulfilling.
Oh, yeah.
I love being able to talk royal drama with you.
Kate Middleton has to be dead.
She's got to be dead, right?
She's got it. Or
listeners,
some shit.
Do you agree with us?
Is she dead? The affair theory seems like a thing too. I don't know, but something's
apparently she's been stabbed.
I really don't think that things are right. Because
now we're on standby for an announcement from the palace.
Yes, supposedly by Wednesday. So
William's mistress is pregnant.
Who, by the way, looks like a discount, Kate Middleton. What were we thinking, William?
P.S. Father, William, like son.
William 100% is not aging well.
Nope,
you are.
Like father, like son.
Like father, like son. Maybe he also
the apple does not fall far from the tree.
Maybe William also wants to be somebody's tampon.
Oh.
I couldn't not. That family.
I'm telling you, and I said this to you this week too. The queen died. That family went to crap.
Listen, the glue that was holding the shit together. And I know people say that the queen murdered Diana, which, maybe. But I still do love the queen, too.
I don't know that the queen had anything to do with it.
I go back and forth. It's
I don't
all
know.
been downhill, though. I think we can agree on that.
Yep.
And I just, the way I'm going to be devouring the media around this week,
The way that I'm still devouring the media around
all
that.
we're all we're going to be doing,
Look, I
all
got up in the middle of the night last night and checked the news. Like something was released in the middle of the night or something.
listen, they're like 6 hours ahead, aren't they, or whatever? So,
I mean,
oh
come
no,
on, I
for
sent you
you,
something at 11 o'clock last night.
I know. For you, they're what, like 9 hours ahead? How far
Yeah,
ahead are they from California?
I have
Far.
no idea, but I sent you something.
I know, I saw it. And what's so funny is I had seen that, I think, before bed, and I meant to send it to you, but maybe I accidentally sent it to somebody else.
Who cares? I sent it to you.
Matters not. You sent it to me.
I love that our FYP is
We're synced
linked
up.
again.
We're synced up. So,
So yeah,
um,
anyways, my favorite Cassie text of the week is the fact that her and I are on royal drama together. Anyways,
I spent my
how's my
layover in
bestie?
Chicago being caught up on royal drama. I'm good. I'm jet lagged. I'm fine. Uh, what's exciting? So I had a business trip, as we know. It was for a trade show. It was fun. It's a trade show called Expo West, and it's a big nutrition. I work in the nutrition market now. It's a big like nutrition and whole foods, health foods trade show. When I say big, I mean there were like 80,000 people there. It was huge. Um, and the whole bottom floor was all really good food. I ate so many samples of things that were actually safe for me. It was great.
Well, that's exciting.
And then I found a couple of brands I really liked, so I ordered some shit when I got home. So that was fun. This was my first work trip for the new job. It went well. The team's cool. People are very nice. Had fun. And the only thing that was brutal was that I had literally just gotten back from like Anaheim 4 days, and then I flew back to Anaheim for this. So
Yep.
it's been a little brutal. Um, and uh, the other exciting piece of information for those who have been following the journey of us fixing up our house to how we want it since moving in, the painting is officially done. We had
Woohoo!
painters come and finish while we were visiting Kelly and Michael. So, if anybody's curious, here's the lowdown on the colors. Our kitchen nook is Sherwin-Williams Evergreen Fog. It's delicious. I adore that color.
It's delicious.
It's a delicious color. I look at that and I want to be like, I want to spend my whole day in the kitchen nook. Big fan of Evergreen Fog. Our bedroom has been painted Moon Mist by Sherwin-Williams. It's very calming. It's much better because it was a dark, dark, dark gray in there from the previous owners. And every time we went in there, it was like a little bit cavey. And this now feels very calming and peaceful and nice, which we love.
Love that.
Our bathroom is Sea Salt by Sherwin-Williams. It's giving spa energy. It's giving hand and stone massage parlors. It's giving relaxation, and we love it. And lastly, our guest bathroom is Sleepy Hollow by Sherwin-Williams. I'm going to be honest with you. I largely chose that color because of the name.
Yep, I saw that one coming.
I had to do it, but we've ordered like little things to finish fixing up that bathroom, and it's coming together so nicely in there. I love it. So big fan. Interior design and decorating is like a big thing that I love. It's like so much fun to me. If I could do that as a job, I would. I mean, I could do it as a job,
You could.
but
Yeah.
I don't have any of the credentials or certifications or anything like that. But it's just a blast, and it's so fun and creative. Creative. So, did you decide yet on the color for your cabinets?
Almost. I'm between two. I'll let you know.
Yeah. Is one of the ones that we picked one of the final two or no?
Yes.
Oh, a golden. How exciting.
Yeah. While
That's
Cassie
cool.
was here, she got to see that I'm picking colors for my kitchen cabinets. So
They're all nice. You picked
she
all
got a
good
vote.
ones.
Yeah.
Corey got a vote too. So.
And with our kitchen is literally the center of our house, like
It is.
literally. So I've had trouble with picking paint for the rest of our house. So I feel like once the kitchen is done, I'll be able
Probably you can.
to do the rest of the house.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah, your kitchen is yeah, it's right in the middle of the house, and it's kind of also like a transition space because you have to cut through the kitchen to get to
to the other
everything
parts.
else.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah. I'm excited to see it when it's done.
Yeah. So we'll see. We will see.
I like the jazz hands. Not pictured. All right, so my friend, should we do this shit again?
I guess we should do this shit again.
Mine's lengthy once more.
Mine is medium, I would say. I would say short but medium.
Mine involves Moida and the
Mine
mob.
involves missing persons but probably murder.
All right, we might as well slap a disclaimer here. If any of that makes you uncomfortable, we'll carry
Yep.
on. And we'll see you next episode. Bye now. So this is not going to be a light episode.
No.
Episode? Did you hear that? Episode. I said episode. It's not a light episode. So, should I? Do you want me to start, or would you like to start?
I started last time if you would like to go.
Here we go. Shout out to, once again, honorary cousin Michael.
There
For
it
this
is.
gem.
We knew
There
it was
he
going to
is.
happen.
This is the unsolved murder of Bugsy Siegal. Try and tell me that's
What a name.
Try and tell me that is not the ultimate like mobster name. Bugsy Siegal.
Yeah, yeah.
I think I have to do my whole research in that voice.
There you go.
On I don't think I'm gonna be able to.
Do it. I dare you. Go
I
ahead.
don't, it's long. I have pages and pages here. On February 28th, 1906.
Yeah, she couldn't do it. She can't even do it with a freaking straight face.
Bugsy Siegal. I can't.
Yep.
Anywho, our man Bugsy was born in Brooklyn, New York. Brooklyn. At the time of birth, he was given the name Benjamin by his parents, who were Jewish immigrants. I combined the two into Jimish.
That's pretty good.
Oh God. Siegal was introduced to crime early in life. You know, what a pleasant childhood.
That's a way to start it.
He grew up in a known to be crime-ridden section of Williamsburg where there were Irish and Italian gangs. Siegal began the life of crime by extorting money from push peddlers on the Lower East Side of New York and by starting up the Bugs Meyer gang with Meyer Lansky, whom he had met at the age of 12. The Bugs Meyer gang was a band of ruthless Jewish mobsters that ran a group of contract killers under the same Moida Inc.
Moida Inc.
That's it. They were a group of contract killers under the name of Murder Inc.
Stop.
I'm serious. Moida Inc. Better than Monsters Inc., some might say.
Murder Incorporated.
You got it. I mean, I kind of
That's
give it
a
to them
lie.
like, what a brand and what a vibe. It's believed that Siegal hid his friend Al Capone when there was a warrant out on Capone for murder. How
Okay.
fun is that? Anywho, here we are in the 1920s. Siegal becomes this prominent player in a fresh group of criminals. This is where he gains his nickname Bugsy due to his volatile nature.
Okay.
I guess that was like 1920s slang for this guy's fucking off the rails. I don't know. Anywho, this group of criminals, excuse me, this group of criminals was organized by Charles Lucky Luciano and other Italian gangsters, and their goal was to kill off many of the veteran gangsters of New York. In 1931, Siegal, along with 4 others, were hired to execute Joe the Boss Masseria, who was a Sicilian mobster. By the way, for our listeners, I've been doing the Italian hands this entire paragraph so far. The men carried out the execution on April 15th of that year, almost your birthday.
Yeah.
That would have been cool. And shot Masseria to death at Nuova Villa Tamaro in Coney Island, of course. In 1937, Siegal moves to California. He's like, bye, New York. I'm going across the country. And he takes his bootlegging and gambling rackets with him. So in California, he gets there. He sets up gambling dens and offshore gambling ships. By the way, I would probably take that boat ride.
Yeah.
Anyway, Siegal also consolidated the pre-existing rackets of prostitution, narcotics, and bookmaking. Oh, what a gem. So, he lived and maintained an extravagant lifestyle in Beverly Hills. Siegal had a palatial estate. He rubbed elbows with Hollywood moguls and starlets. He frequented Hollywood parties. And we get to November 22nd, 1939. And Siegal was one of the gang members who killed Harry Big Greenie Greenberg because Greenberg had threatened to become a police informant. Siegel's partners in crime were Whitney Krakauer and two unnamed gang members. Siegal was tried for the murder in September 1941, and Krakauer was killed before he could face trial.
Wow.
Convenient, yes?
Yeah.
So, in 1945, Siegel's like, enough of California. I'm moving to Las Vegas with my girl, Virginia Hill, who was an actress and a money runner for the Chicago mob. And she had a penchant for blackmailing Hollywood stars. So this was just a fun couple. He'd been dating Virginia since like the late 1930s, so they've been together a little while. With a reported $5 million in funding from the Eastern Crime Syndicate, Siegal began to put his plans of building a gambling mecca in the Nevada desert in action. So the construction of the Flamingo Hotel and Casino soon surpassed its budget, costing over $6 million, and it was discovered that much of the overspending was caused by Siegal's mismanagement of the funds. Siegal was convinced that he could draw thousands of vacationers, so he demanded the finest that money could buy. And his previous partner in crime, Meyer Lansky, so we're going back to the Murder Inc. days, a prominent member of the Eastern Syndicate, was not by any means happy with this betrayal by Siegal. So, 1947, the evening of June 20th, a large number of rapidly fired bullets crashed through Siegal's living room window at his home, killing him brutally at the age of 42. He died from bullet wounds to the head and lungs. So let's get into this a little bit more.
Yeah.
Americans open their newspapers June 21st, 1947, and they see large headlines about the murder of Benjamin Bugsy Siegal, who, according to a U.S. press story, was the, quote, nation's #1 gangster. So he really made his way up in the gang world, I guess. Good for him? No. Anyway, as Time magazine noted, for a managing editor who likes a good, splashy crime story, the murder of Benjamin Bugsy Siegal in a Beverly Hills mansion had everything. For several days, the tabloids of Manhattan, the sensational papers of Los Angeles, and, to a lesser degree, papers all over the U.S. played it high, wide, and handsome. Because this crime had never been solved, it still captures people's attentions today. And so, while we know what happened to Siegal, there's still much speculation as to who killed him and why. So, let's get into this. Siegal was hit 2 times in the face and 2 in the chest. There were 5 other shots that missed him. Siegal had arrived in Los Angeles early in the morning of June 20th. He'd been successful in completing the construction of the Flamingo Casino, with a fabulous opening planned on December 26, 1946, and of the hotel, which had opened on March 1st. The property had begun to make a profit, but Siegal still faced substantial unpaid construction costs around that extra $1 million that I had mentioned. Those around him saw a man who was essentially worried about how to pay off those debts and a man who needed a few days off from the stress. So he had leased a house at 810 North Linden Drive in Beverly Hills for his mistress, Virginia. She had run off to Paris after another of their many spats, lovers' quarrels, little fights, what have you. Since the lease was about to end, Siegal needed to collect some clothes. He also had a scheduled meeting with publicist Paul Price and his lawyer, Joe Ross, to discuss a promotion campaign for the Flamingo. Most importantly, his daughters, Millicent and Barbara, if those aren't like 1940s names, Millicent and Barbara, were going to join him in Los Angeles for a vacation. He did have a wife previously, Esta. They had divorced. It would be his first time in a while seeing the girls, who were traveling by train from New York. Anywho, that evening, he went to dinner with a guy named Alan Smiley, who was his friend. You got it. His Virginia's brother, Chick, and Virginia's secretary, Jerry Mason, who was going to marry Chick. Okay, so Smiley drives everyone back to the home on North Linden Drive. He and Siegal are chilling on a sofa. Smiley later explains that they are chinning and skimming newspapers, whatever the fuck that means. And Mason and Hill go upstairs. So, Siegal and Smiley chat, totally unaware that somebody was apparently standing outside the window to their right. Whoever this person was, they rested a 30 caliber military carbine on the trellis just outside the window. The muzzle of the shooter's gun was less than 14 feet from Siegal, and a little before 11 p.m., he fires 9 rounds. One hit the bridge of Siegal's nose and knocked out his left eye. Another round hit him in the right cheek, and then 2 in the chest. The other rounds hit the wall behind Siegal. Yeah. One of the rounds, excuse me, had gone through Smiley's jacket, but he was not wounded. He told the police, quote, "I heard the glass shattering and I ducked. I don't know how many shots were fired, but when I looked at Siegal, I could see he had taken most of them. Some neighbors rushed into the street after hearing the shots and saw a car that raced away. Virginia's brother, who was upstairs, called the police, who arrived on the scene within minutes. In the early days of the investigation, L.A. County Deputy District Attorney Ernest Roll told newspaper reporters, quote, "There might have been 100 different people who wanted him out of the way." So this leads journalists to raise all kinds of questions about the motive and killing of Siegal. Had he essentially pissed off the wrong person in narcotics trafficking or in the struggle to control the horse race wire service? Had he spent too much of the mob's money in completing the Flamingo? Had he skimmed the money? Had someone killed him for his ill treatment of Virginia? A whole lot of questions. So fairly quickly, the district attorney reluctantly concluded that Siegal's shooter may, quote, "never be identified." But over the past 7 decades, gangster enthusiasts, journalists, historians, and biographers have offered a variety of solutions. One of the most enduring explanations being that it concerns a summit of mob leaders that convened in Havana, Cuba. There's a disagreement over whether it took place in December of 1946 or February of 1947, but most authors argue that notable underworld leaders Charles Lucky Luciano, Frank Costello, and Meyer Lansky were in attendance, Meyer being his buddy from way back with Murder, Inc.
Yeah.
Those who support this theory argue that the leaders of the New York mob decided that Siegal had to be eliminated, either because he had wasted or stolen their money. Then,
Wow.
I know, there were 9 shells scattered across the driveway of the home next to where Siegal was shot. Los Angeles Herald Examiner collection and Los Angeles Public Library, they kind of have like a whole, I guess, file on all of this. But anyway, those who subscribe to the theory about the mob leaders designated Southern California mafia boss Jack Dragna to carry out the hit. Depending on the author, Dragna ordered one of 3 men to kill Siegal. It was Frankie Carbo, who was a mobster, Eddie Canizario, who was also a mobster, or World War II veteran Robert McDonald, who, according to author Warren Hull, had a significant gambling debt that he owed to the mob. In a 2013 book, one author, Clark Fogg, who for many years was the senior forensic specialist in the Beverly Hills Police Department lab, argued that there had actually been 2 shooters. He concluded that, quote, "it would have been nearly impossible for just one gunman to make such precise shots to Siegal's face because the mobster's head would have turned upon impact from the first bullet." He further believes mobster Joe Adonis hired, quote, "the 2 Tonys," which would be Tony Brancanto and Tony Trombino, to kill Siegal because he was stealing from the New York mob. Let's see. Virginia Hill was in Paris at the time of the shooting. She had left Vegas a couple of weeks earlier, again because of that fight they had. In July of 1947, and an FBI informant reported another intriguing claim about the identity of Siegal's shooter, one who has also endured well into the 21st century. The informant said that Meyer Lansky had suggested that Virginia Hill's brother may have actually killed Siegal because of Siegal mistreating Virginia. We know that the brother was there. Siegal had been with Hill frequently for about 5 years, and despite them having like a passionate affair, they often fought. Bernie Sindler, who worked at the Flamingo in 1946 and 47, made the same claim in his 2015 memoir, The Bernie Sindler Story. Another author, Gus Russo, who wrote Supermob, which was a book about lawyer Sidney Korshak, who represented actors, corporate executives, and mobsters, offered a variation on that theory. He said that um, the lawyer was persuaded uh, that Mo Dalitz, an underworld figure from Cleveland, had authorized the hit on Siegal because of his abuse of Hill, who had, for a time, been Dalitz's lover. Screenwriter Edward Anhalt, who lived next to Hill for a time at the Chateau Marmont in West Hollywood, agreed. Anhalt describes having dinner with Siegal in the spring of 1947 and having their meal interrupted by the maitre d' handing Siegal an envelope. After reading the message inside, Siegal really looked worried, and Anhalt contended that a friend told him the letter was from Detroit. Dalitz was also associated with the Detroit mob, warning Siegal to leave Virginia Hill alone.
Wow.
In 2014, a story was published that placed Mo Sedway, who was a longtime associate of Siegal's, at the center of his murder. She drew upon an unpublished book proposal written by Mo's widow, Beatrice. In her account, Bea acclaimed that Siegal planned to have her husband killed when he learned that Sedway was keeping a precise account of the business of the Flamingo and reporting the worsening debt situation to Meyer Lansky. Bea further claimed that Mo learned of Siegal's plan and responded swiftly, getting Lansky's approval to have Siegal murdered instead. And the shooter, according to Bea, was Matthew Moose Panza, a man with whom she was having an affair. Wallace wrote that Panza followed Siegal's movements on June 20th, drove behind Smiley to the house on North Linden Drive. After shooting Siegal, Panza jumped into his car and didn't stop driving until he pulled into an alley in Santa Monica, where he broke down the rifle, tossed the barrel into the ocean, and the butt on a rooftop. Amid these conflicting claims, some of the things about Siegal and his murder are clear. Most notably, it was clearly a well-planned hit. On the evening of the shooting, during the 8:30 show at the Flamingo, 8 men left their table in the showroom, moved quickly to the security desk, front door casino cage, and hotel registration desk, obviously to secure the property for what was to come. Immediately after the shooting, Alan Smiley called a man who answered in a telephone booth just outside the Flamingo. The man had become an informant for Las Vegas FBI agent Curtis Lynham. Smiley told the informant that Siegal had been shot in the face and chest and he knew he was dead. Only moments after Smiley's phone call, Mo Sedway, along with Gus Greenbaum and Morris Rosen, walked into the Flamingo and announced that Siegal was dead and that they were in control of the property. So, some researchers feel that Mo Sedway, who was Siegal's partner in the race wire in Las Vegas, as well as the Flamingo Hotel, had something to do with the murder.
Yeah.
Then, going back to this Las Vegas FBI agent, Lynham, he didn't name his super informant, but he did describe him. And Lynham explained that before his arrival in Las Vegas in April 1947, a man came into the Las Vegas resident agency and said he wanted to help the FBI. Local agents had been able to verify the informant's claims about the underworld. Moreover, what was true, as was true with Sedway, this informant, quote, had a wife and children living in Los Angeles while, quote, he kept a mistress in Las Vegas. He was also thought to be a legitimate businessman in town. Lynham explained that the informant's first information of importance was keeping me advised of Siegal's activities. All of this evidence points to Sedway as the super informant. Indeed, FBI reports in both 1948 and 1951 identify Sedway as a confidential informant in Las Vegas. Knowing he was most certainly the informant Alan Smiley called after the shooting makes it easier to understand how Sedway, along with Greenbaum and Rosen, were in the position to enter the Flamingo so quickly after Siegal died. Now, there is some circumstantial evidence from a 1947 that confirms this conclusion. And let's see, in August, an FBI agent in Las Vegas reported that someone, whose name was redacted in the FBI report, in the local police department told FBI agents that he had concluded that Sedway had, quote, engineered the killing because Sedway had, quote, acted peculiarly just before Siegal was killed, and that since the killing he has been nervous as a cat, quote. In addition, Clinton Anderson, the chief of police in Beverly Hills, told Siegal biographer Dean Jennings, quote, I was convinced and still am that Sedway had a hand in the Siegal killing. He knew who did it. So Mo Sedway did not pull the trigger, but he clearly played a role in the Siegal murder. He had to have been in close communications with the shooter or someone who immediately knew that there had been a successful hit on Siegal. Otherwise, he wouldn't have known when to march in and take over the Flamingo. Unfortunately, because the Siegel case is an open one, re- researchers can't view the file, but there is more to be learned. And it's crime case 46176 in the Beverly Hills Police Department, and that is the complicated murder of Bugsy Siegel. I think I think that this guy Sedway had to have orchestrated it, but who actually pulled the trigger, I don't know. I
Yeah.
can get down with the one thing that the former forensics guy posited that there were actually two shooters. Like, I could get down with that.
Yeah.
So obviously, it's all connections to the mob. Whether it has to do with, I'm not sure what the motive was. Was it debt? Was it abuse of Virginia? Maybe both. I don't know. Like, the crime world, the mob world is like a very sketchy one. So like,
Also, maybe just don't mess with the mob.
yeah. Also, like, yeah, maybe don't go down that path, Bugsy, but
Yeah.
okay. So that's what it was. I don't think it's something that we're ever actually going to have the answer to.
No.
Also, I think like there is the possibility that his buddy from childhood, Meyer Lansky, could have been one of the ones to pull the trigger,
Yeah.
like, or have something to do with it, because it's like
It's not far fetched.
he's come up several times throughout the research, and like I could see I could see where that could be the case.
Yeah.
So there you have it. Thanks, honorary cousin Michael. This was a fun
That
one.
was very interesting.
Hope I did it justice. There's a lot of names, and it's like
Yeah.
when I was doing this research, I felt like that one picture from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, where the guy has like all the red yarn up on the wall and he looks like
Yeah.
crazy. That's what I felt like, because I was like, hold on, who's this and who's this?
Well, okay. Well, anything with the mob, yeah. Like,
Basically, yeah. So anyway, it was a lot of fun. I don't think it's ever going to be solved, but
no, I
I
don't think it can be. And again, I think anything that's involved with the mob and unsolved, it's not going to be.
yeah, and I also can't
They
help
have a
but wonder
way
if
of
like
covering things up.
yeah, I also can't help but wonder if like maybe Virginia knew some of this shit was coming, and like that's part of the reason why she pieced out and went to Paris. Like maybe she was with the other person who was like and had told him like,
Maybe.
Bugsy's like abusing me. I want to get back with you, but I'm going to get out of town. Or like maybe he told her to get out of town. So like I
Yeah,
feel like she could have known potentially. Much
potentially.
like you girl, whatever. So
Yeah.
anyway, that's what we got. What do you have today?
I've got missing persons, multiple.
Multiple. Oh
I've
no.
got the Springfield 3.
Oh
This one,
no.
this one was intriguing to me. So,
Okay.
the Springfield 3 refers to an unsolved missing persons case that began June 7th, 1992,
Oh my
when
God.
friends Suzanne Susie Streeter and Stacy McCall and Streeter's mother, Cheryl Levitt, went missing from Levitt's home in Springfield, Missouri. We're back in
We're
Missouri.
back in Missouri. Here, we're
Yep.
back.
So, Cheryl Elizabeth Levitt was 47 years old at the time of her disappearance. She was 5 feet and 110 pounds, with short, light blonde hair and brown eyes. She was a cosmetologist at a local salon and was a single mother and reportedly very close to her daughter, Suzanne, or notably Susie Streeter. Streeter was 19 years old and 5 feet 2 inches and 102 pounds, with shoulder length blonde hair and brown eyes. Her distinguished marks included a scar on her upper right forearm and a small mole on her left corner of her mouth, and pierced ears. Stacy McCall, her friend, 18 years old, was 5 feet 3 inches and 120 pounds with long dark blonde hair and light colored eyes.
They were all so small.
Yeah, they were very, very small
They were like itty
women.
bitty petite ladies. Yeah.
Yeah. And very, very beautiful. I
Hmm.
would like to say, I'm looking at photos of them.
Aw.
Their disappearance. Streeter and McCall graduated from Kickapoo High School.
Oh my God. Why is that the name of it?
I don't know. On
Okay.
June 6th, 1992. They were last seen around 2 a.m. on June 7th when they were leaving the last of a few graduation parties they had attended that evening. At some point during the night, they were also seen in Battlefield, Missouri. The pair planned to spend the night at their friend Janelle Kirby's house. When they decided Kirby's house was too crowded and they instead left to go to Streeter's and left. It's assumed they arrived because their clothing, jewelry, and purses and vehicles were all present at the house the next day. Levitt was also last heard from at approximately 11:15 p.m. on June 6th when she spoke to a friend on the phone. The following day at 9 a.m., Kirby and her boyfriend visited the house after Streeter and McCall failed to show up at her home. They planned to spend the day at a water park. When they were supposed to leave from Kirby's residence, upon arriving, Kirby found the home's front door unlocked, and she entered but found no sign of Streeter, McCall, or Levette. Each of the women's cars were parked outside. She also reported to the police that she found a glass lampshade on the front porch shattered, though the light bulb itself was intact, which is kind of weird. Kirby's boyfriend innocently helped sweep up the broken glass off the porch, which police later determined that might have destroyed potential evidence.
God damn it.
Yeah. Inside the house, Kirby found Levette Streeter's dog, a little terrier named Cinnamon, who appeared agitated.
Oh.
While inside, Kirby also answered a strange and disturbing call from an unidentified male who made sexual innuendos. She hung up and immediately received another call of another sexual nature, again hanging up the phone.
Jesus.
Several hours later, McCall's mother, Janice, also visited the home as her daughter failed to answer her calls. Inside, she noticed all three women's purses were sitting on the floor of the living room. She also saw her daughter's clothing neatly folded from the night before. Levette and Streeter's cigarettes were also left inside the house. Janice frantically called the police from the home's telephone, reporting the three women were missing. After placing the call, while checking the phone's answering machine, she listened to a strange message, but it was inadvertently erased from the tape. Police were very invested in the call and believed it may have contained a clue. They also did not believe it was connected to the prank calls Kirby received earlier that day. McCall's parents contacted police in reference to their daughter's disappearance from Levette's home more than 16 hours after the women were last seen, and other worried friends and family called and visited the house following the day. Police later estimated that the crime scene had been corrupted by 10 to 20 people who had visited the house. Upon officers' arrival, the scene showed no signs of struggle except for the shattered porch light, which had been swept up.
Motherfucker.
All personal
Also,
property,
motherfucker who deleted the fucking message, too.
Yeah. All personal property was left behind, including purses, money, cars, keys, cigarettes, and the family dog. So,
yeah,
what happened, what was going on, there was no struggle except for a broken light. These women were small, so could they really put up a struggle? Was it multiple people that took them?
Yeah, I don't know. How... This is a weird...
It's very weird.
It's weird,
and
yeah.
It's not like they just left because all their stuff, their cars, it's all there. It's just, it's like they just vanished.
That's very strange.
Later developments. On December 31st, 1992, a man called the America's Most Wanted hotline with information about the women's disappearance, but the call was disconnected when the switchboard operator attempted to link up with the Springfield investigators.
For the love of fucking God.
Yep.
Oh my God.
Police said the caller had prime knowledge of the abductors and abductions and publicly appealed for the man to contact them, but he never did. Levette and Streeter were declared legally dead in 1997. However, their case files were still officially filed under missing. Investigators received a tip that the women's bodies were buried in the foundations of the south parking garage at the Cox Hospital in 2007. Crime reporter Kathleen Baird invited Rick Norland, a mechanical engineer, to scan the corner of the parking garage with a ground-penetrating radar. Norland found 3 abnormalities, roughly the same size, that he said were consistent with grave site location. Two of them were parallel and the other was perpendicular. Springfield Police Department spokesperson Lisa Cox said that the person who reported the tip provided no evidence or logical reasoning behind the theory at the time or since then. She also said that parking garage began construction in September of 1993, over a year after the disappearances. Digging up the area would be too expensive and extremely costly without any reasonable belief in the bodies belief that the bodies could be located there. It is
That's ridiculous.
illogical to do so for those reasons. And they determined that this lead is not credible due to the fact that it was claimed to be a psychic that reported it.
Oh, Jesus. I mean, honestly, though, if they found, like, they did the
But
scan. Like,
they did the scan, and
that
I
seems
think
like.
I think that the scan alone was very credible to
Well,
do
yeah,
the
I
digging.
think that kind of, like, hello, like, that kind of gives you the green light that you need.
Yeah.
Especially if they were to, like, maybe, I don't know, go and scan other areas of the garage and show that, like, anomalies like this don't exist elsewhere within the garage.
Yeah.
You
And
know?
due to the sizing and whatnot
Yeah, like,
alone,
hello.
like that to me says enough. Right there,
That's
that said
so
enough to me.
annoying. I knew that was going to be, I knew as soon as you said that, I was like, they're not going to dig it up. They're not going to dig it up
Yep.
because it always comes down to a fucking dollar.
Yep. There were some suspects. Dustin Riccia was a former boyfriend of Susie. He broke into a Springfield mausoleum a few months before the women vanished and stole $30 worth of gold fillings from a skull.
Okay.
Police looked at him because Streeter had given investigators a statement about the mausoleum break-in and was rumored to be probable witness against Riccia in court. Riccia and his two friends that helped in the mausoleum robbery were known to be together in the area the night of the women went missing. And in 1997, Robert Craig Cox, imprisoned in Texas as a convicted kidnapper and robber, and suspected in a Florida murder, told journalists that he knew the three women had been murdered and buried and claimed their bodies would never be recovered.
Okay, then.
In 1992, Cox had been living in Springfield and when interviewed had told investigators that he was with his girlfriend at church the morning after the women disappeared, which she had later recanted her statement and said Cox had asked her to say that.
Okay.
Yeah. They said that later it was he wasn't a credible. What he said wasn't credible. I think it is.
I think it is.
Also, I'd like to say that his last name is Cox, and their bodies might be in the what was it? Cox Hospital parking garage.
Yeah.
Do you see the little link there?
That's interesting. And it's spelled the same way.
Yep, spelled exactly the same way.
Also, Cox, LOL.
I love you. I just kind of think that.
I think that's,
I don't know.
yeah.
I think he has an ego that he would do that. And
we've got,
for him
yeah.
to say something so big, their bodies would never be uncovered.
Yeah, I mean,
That's some pretty big balls.
that's some
to
pretty
say
big
that.
shit to say. Yeah.
The case remains unsolved as of this year, in spite of upward of 5,000 tips from the public. In June of 1997, a bench was dedicated to the women inside the Victims Memorial Garden of Springfield's Phelps Grove Park.
Oh.
The case has been featured as shows such as 48 Hours, America's Most Wanted, Investigation Discovery, and many podcasts, including ours now.
Ta-da.
I really wish they would dig up the parking garage.
It's got, that has to be them.
I fully believe it's them. I think it's really bizarre that there really is no evidence, but at the same time I see that like so much was tainted, so many people came in and out of the home and everything like that like that's pretty obvious. This is such a wild case. 3 women went missing and like
Without a trace, basically.
without a trace, and I just don't know how it didn't get more. I'm sure it had a lot of recognition in the moment, but I don't know how it
It's just so
wasn't taken more
strange.
seriously.
Yeah, it's just such a strange.
Because to me, when researching it, it didn't feel like it got any. It just didn't feel like it was very taken seriously at all.
I just feel so sad for like obviously the girls, but also their families because like I think there's something so clearly right there that could give them closure and nobody's
Yeah,
acting on it. And it just sucks.
because the technology was there. It showed.
And who cares if like the construction of that garage started like a handful of months or like a year later or whatever, like they still could have buried them.
Yeah, he very well could have held them captive for a year
Could have been that too.
and tortured
Like,
them for a year.
yeah. You never know. Like or just kill them and dump them and like nobody would have known. I mean, nobody would have
Yeah,
really. So it's just kind of, I don't know, it's just
it's
kind of crazy to
ridiculous.
me. Yeah, that's sad. That frustrates me.
Yeah. So I'm sorry that it's such a doom and gloom thing, but I did want to. I'm trying to
No, it's
bring more
good.
light onto missing persons
Yeah.
cases,
I
and
love missing persons cases.
this one really caught my eye, especially the name, the Springfield Three.
Yeah,
It's very catchy, unfortunately.
it is catchy. I mean, you have to say that. But like, yeah, it just kind of I hope that somehow someday they can get an answer to this, but yeah, I think
Yeah,
it's I don't think they're missing. I think
I
they're
think that
dead.
they've. Yeah,
But
I
I
can
think
say
that
wholeheartedly that reading this, I just didn't. They're gone.
they're gone. But like
Yeah,
I wish those families could get answers and that
they
just
get
sucks.
closure.
Yeah. Um wow. This was a heavy ass episode.
Yep,
Moida galore.
Moida,
But thank you, Bestie. You did a great job with
Moida
that.
missing Moida.
Moida missing and Moida. And unsolved and spoogala boogala mysteries. But let us know what you all think in either case. Who did it? Who done it? And I'm so sold that they're in that garage, those three. But
Yeah, I'm
anyway,
completely.
yeah, like I'm no doubt in my mind. But anyway, until next time.
Stay strange.